Hi, and welcome to another AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris, and joining me today is Rina Gami. Now, Rina is the co-owner of Connexus and also the host of the Lead with Data podcast. And we're going to be talking about if AI is going to take your job or enhance your job. Hi, Rina. Welcome to AI in 5. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you're in that specialist recruitment area, so more than anybody seeing the impact AI is having on the workplace. And, we're hearing lots of AI won't take your job, but somebody with AI will take it. And, there's a whole lot of grandstanding and stuff going on. I'd love to cut through with you in this 5 minutes. What's reality out there?
I think everybody's worrying about what AI is doing, right? I don't think there's any conversation we're having these days without AI being dropped in.
Yep.
So I suppose relating back to this particular question, is my job at risk? I think a lot of people are worried. I think instead of worrying about, is your job disappearing? I think we need to rephrase that.
Yep.
In terms of how is my role evolving? What do I need to learn next? And I think fundamentally we're human beings, and there's going to be many aspects that are not going to be replaced, right? So what are those human strengths that we have that are not going to be replaced?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest problem we've got at the moment with organizations wanting to adopt AI is that we do have a shortage of talent, right? A lot of these individuals have never existed before. And I'm not talking about data scientists. I'm talking about AI engineers, product managers, AI strategists. We've got to think about AI ethics now.
Chief AI officers. Yep.
Chief AI officers, AI trainers. One of the things leaders are talking to me about right now is we have a big problem because it's not just a data problem, it's an organizational problem. So we need AI trainers to build that literacy across the organization. So I think there's a whole network and group of people and roles that are going to come as a result of this.
Okay.
So, I think the first thing is that jobs are not necessarily going to disappear. They're just going to change.
That's it. We've seen this before, though, right? Like the term SEO and SEM never appeared before the internet came along. So, yes, the internet took some jobs, but it put some back too. How can people go about leaning in to this change? Because the Australian thing is to lean back from the change. How can people lean in?
I think we've just got to think that AI isn't just about building models or about thinking about what things is it going to take away. I think it's about understanding the way that AI is going to drive business value and then the role that you play in it. So whether you work in data governance, it will be related to understanding what compliance and ethics and things that we need to consider. And then also about what requirements is my role going to have when this new technology or this new way of working is going to come in, and what do I need to do? So it's more about being curious, which sounds really easy because of course people are worried. And I think the reality is there are some tasks that will get automated, and they will mean that there are certain manual job roles that will potentially no longer exist. But those roles that will not exist are not going to exist because the ability to do them at a faster level is going to become available. But you're still going to need people to manage that.
Yeah.
So as an individual, you've got to figure out how you're going to grow with that to be able to then work it with higher volumes of that. Coding, for example, say with data engineers. Data engineers are not going to disappear. You're going to be able to produce code quicker when it comes to working with AI and technology. So you're still going to need data engineers to manage that. So I think it's about figuring out what your role looks like and what's the next evolution of that with this new technology and the ability to be able to do things faster.
And I see some concern that the downside could also happen, that if we insist on a human in the loop of everything, that there will be AI processes that wind up with a human sitting there just pushing the yes button over and over and over like a little yellow bird. But, I guess that's just up to organizations to kind of manage that properly.
Yeah. We often get called with many technologies that, are supposedly going to replace recruitment. And I think in some aspects, of course, they are. But when I think about our business, we deal with people, and the technical skills are easy to be able to test with a system or a
Mm.
technology. But the bigger part and the bigger problem organizations have is finding people who can drive their data strategy, who can drive a culture. And then now we're looking at who can drive an AI culture, not just who can build a model or who can develop this next new shiny piece of tech that we want or this new agentic AI. It's about who's going to educate the business. And those people skills, no matter how good your technology is, can only be picked up with human intuition. So
Awesome. Awesome. Look,
our involvement.
we're right at time, but I love to ask everybody the same question. A quick answer from you. What if an organization is just starting its AI journey? What should they be thinking about? What should they be doing?
They need to be thinking about what do they currently have within their team? What are the gaps that they've got? And what opportunities is it going to provide the people that they have in their team before they start to recruit externally?
Beautiful. What brilliant advice. Rina, thank you for being a part of AI in 5.
Thank you for having me.